All right, we mentioned it's Thursday night football tonight. We've got our Thursday night football same game parlay ready for you. We'll unveil it in just a moment. But first, let's take a quick look at our projections for Thursday night football. Dave, take it away.
Yeah, cool. So we also talked about this game on Tuesday, a little bit of an early look. We didn't have projections and stuff up yet because, as we mentioned, the doubleheader pushed the week of the NFL into Tuesday morning. So more time for our model to fully reset after the break between weeks. So we'll take a little look here. I'll pull up our projections. We're not going to discuss the game line as we've already talked about the various value there. We've talked about our best bet in this game and which was the under. So if you want to read that or see that, go check out the clip from Tuesday's episode. It's on YouTube. It's on the episodes on Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Check that out. So right here, we'll just look through the game itself real quick. So projected final score still in favor of the Bills pretty heavily, obviously. 52% to cover. Let's go down here. What I want to really look at is some receiving stuff. The Bills have a really interesting receiving core here. Keon Coleman had over 100 yards in week 1 before a quieter, much easier week 2 for the Bills. Hard to take a lot away from that game. It was such a blowout. James Cook really doing it all on the ground. This Bills passing game is just so crowded. It's really hard to get a bead on which receiver is going to step up any day, any game. Keon Coleman was drafted to be the guy. Hasn't really displayed that. This was his second career 100-yard game. He had one last year. Khalil Shakir, not the type of guy you would expect to be an upper echelon wide receiver, but in this offense, that's the role that he plays. But yeah, I mean, these guys spread the ball around so much. Backing any of these receivers night to night can be pretty tough. And as you can see, I mean, we've basically got an even split among Coleman and Shakir. Josh Palmer not far behind, and Dalton Kincaid, the leading tight end. But I mean, the Bills even work in 2 tight ends. So it's just a really crowded receiver room. I would lean on these projections a bit to help you guide anything you're doing tonight. But like fantasy wise, it's tough to start one of these guys with confidence on a Thursday personally. I might fire him up on a Sunday if I'm in need of the flex, but unless you're hurting for a starter, I'm probably not playing a Bills wide receiver on a Thursday night game. That could be a blowout. Other thing I wanted to look at, Dalton Kincaid. We'll talk about him in our parlay in a bit, so I won't talk this to death. But second leading receiver, on the Bills so far. But he's been targeted 10 times for 2 games. Model projects him for 37, which is actually a couple yards higher than the other day. Tight ends have been featured really prominently versus Miami. They've been the second leading receiver for opposing teams in both their games. I think his 40 plus, 50 plus are definitely worth a look here. Some alternate lines. Obviously, the model has him for 37, so this is a personal vibe that I'm getting. But 37 is close enough to 40 for me also, where I like the model's upside in that. Maybe some very small units, 0.2, 0.1 on higher lines like 60 or 70. Maybe mix them in with a touchdown. What do we have him for there?
He's over this on his season average too, 43 yards a game right now. So yep. I think it seems totally reasonable as the spot here.
Yeah. I mean, you see him here touchdown wise. He's outside of our top 5. Not crazy surprising. He's probably hovering around actually, you can probably see that right here, 22%. So just outside this top 5. But if you're scared of the wide receiver core and it being spread around too much, at least there's only 2 tight ends to worry about. So I'm a big fan of Kincaid tonight. I'll definitely be playing some alternate lines, and hopefully he helps us cash there.
Love it.
Yeah. For the Dolphins, A-Chain's been doing it all. He's their leading rusher. He's got the most touchdowns out of anyone on the team. He's their second leading receiver. He's everywhere tonight. We'll talk about him in a little bit as well. Tyreek Hill, 70 yards, about splitting the difference of his first game and his second game. Jalen Waddle, I think, is questionable. I believe he's going to go through pregame workouts. It's usually a good sign that a guy's going to play if they expect him to work out. But we're hitting full Dolphins midseason form by wondering if Jalen Waddle is going to play in week 3 already. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything Thursday night football related. Actually, let's take a quick look. First touchdowns. They got first touchdown jackpot on FanDuel tonight. So yeah, if your guy scores the first or last touchdown, you'll split 1 million bonus bet pool for each of those. 1 million for first, 1 million for last. So yeah, I don't know. I personally, I like to go with a guy with a solid probability, but not the top two on each team. Maybe. I'm not touching like Ollie Gordon or Malik Washington here for the Dolphins. So I mean, Dalton Kincaid, there you go. It seems like a perfect one for me. I was just talking about how much I like him. Sneaky, well outside the top two on the Bills. But yeah, Dalton Kincaid is probably going to return you a nice chunk of bonus bets if he scores the first or last touchdown and you play him for an anytime. So pretty good return there if he gets in.
It's fun to use the touchdown model to help guide those bonuses too. It feels like a lot of different sports books are giving touchdown dependent creative bonuses. And obviously it's a fun one to participate in, but also can be lucrative if you are catching a share of the winnings, if you bet something. But, the strategy wise, it is dependent on choosing someone that the rest of the world is not choosing. So I do think the model can be very helpful in trying to figure out who to choose with something like that, rather than throwing a dart at a dartboard trying to pick a name. Find somebody that maybe there's a slight discrepancy in the middle tier of players in the game, not the biggest star, that is not going to be the greatest percentage here, but our model shows value in potentially finding the end zone. It can be a huge help to maximizing your profits on those types of promotions. So I'm with you on Kincaid. I actually just acquired him in my big fantasy league this week as well. And part of that was knowing it's a good matchup against the Dolphins. So I'll be laddering his receiving yards tonight with you and betting him to find the end zone as well. You know what? Let's bring our Thursday night football same game parlay up here. And it's going to feature a lot of the names that we just talked through here. You can play this one at DraftKings for plus 575 odds. They've also got a 50% boost that you can use on this as well. So I'll let you unveil this for us, Dave. Who we got?
Yeah, so as mentioned, here, let me hide that banner so you can see the whole thing. James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Devin Achane for our Thursday night football same game parlay. You can actually, when I placed this morning, it was up to plus 600. So that boost got it up to plus 900, which is pretty nice. Yeah, but I wrote up the article yesterday, so I like to feature, as of publishing here. But so, yeah, James Cook, 60 plus rushing yards, projected for 72.1 tonight. So it's a very favorable projection in our favor. He's hit this line in one of two games. Actually, this is the only prop in here that is not a 100% hit rate for two games. He's 132 yards versus the Jets, just 44 versus the Cardinals. Or sorry, not the Cardinals. The Ravens, that other team that's a bird. Miami's allowed 71 rushing yards to Jonathan Taylor of the Colts out of the 156 team rushing yards allowed in that game, and 122 team rushing yards to the Patriots. Been really vulnerable on the ground to anybody running the ball. Josh Allen's potential limited rushing due to his busted nose and the visor could increase Cook's workload, but there's a good chance Cook can do this on his regular volume anyway. Leg two, Dalton Kincaid, over 29.5 receiving yards. Like I said, this projection has actually gone up. We're about 37 now, so that's feeling really good. Projecting for 3.0 receptions. He's cleared this in both games so far with 48 and 37, so not exactly close or a hook concern there. Miami has been vulnerable to tight ends. Tyler Warren took him for 76 and the second most yards in week one. Austin Hooper for 38 and the second most on the team in week two. It's a pretty prime matchup for Kincaid as a secondary receiving option, and the model agrees. And our final leg, Devin Achane, anytime TD score. He scored in both games this season, 75 yards and a touchdown in week one, 29-yard receiving touchdown in week two. He's the leading volume option across the board, especially out of the backfield as a receiver. Seeing at least 5 targets. 49.4% anytime touchdown probability pretty much implies fair odds of plus 100. So this is also just a good value play on its own with about a 2% edge, I believe. Fair odds are plus 102 on the money. So yeah, really good value on Achane. Strong projections for Cook and Kincaid in favorable spots. Plus 575 at publishing now, or this morning was plus 600. If you boost it, you'll get it even better. So let's cash this bad boy tonight. Dolphins,
rock,
Bills.
baby. Let's we can take a game that may not be all that exciting potentially and make it pretty exciting by cashing this ticket. Don't you love when the odds go the right way too? I mean, that's the best when an hour after you put a bet together, all of a sudden the odds are going even better in your direction. That's a fun thing to follow. So there you have it. Thank you, Dave. All right, we'll keep track and let you know how our Thursday night same game parlay goes by the time we get to the next episode next week.